Welcome to round 2 of the South African Rotax Max Challenge at Laserfische Raceway Vereeniging in Gauteng. Brady Liebermuth putting it on pole ahead of Luke Herring, Jurie Swart in third, Arnold Neveling, who looked like he was going to run away with it in practice, in fourth, Cristiano Morgado the first of a Masters, and Michael Stephen had a terrible qualifying in 11. After Idubi, you must be slightly more relieved after qualifying.
Yeah, I think Idubi didn't go as planned. Obviously, I expected to be a little bit higher up there, but the results didn't play in my favour. And yeah, after quali yesterday, I mean, putting it on pole by 3/10, I mean, the kart felt phenomenal, and yeah, I'm happy about that and looking forward to race 1.
Is this a weekend of catch-up?
I wouldn't say catch-up. It's just now putting my head down and trying to finish as high as possible in every race, and the results will play however they play, and like I say, I can only do as much as I can, and I want to win all the races, and you know, like I say, everything will play out behind that.
You probably would try and take some of those race wins yourself.
Of course, I'm going to win all the races.
Idubi, you also had like an upside down. We're involved in some tangles and stuff. Round 2 is always like a consolidation round of a championship.
Yeah, look, Durban was an absolute dog show for us. We just had so many problems. It's good though to come to our team's home track to put on the front row. We're pretty happy with that. We don't quite know what Brad did in qualifying. That was ridiculous. But yeah, we got good race players. We'll be up there for the fight for sure.
When one talk about consolidation and championships, is this a weekend where you say, I must bag as many points as possible to make up for my first round, which was rubbish, and this track is the sort of track where you can do it?
Yeah, I mean, you can see in practice already the Oaks are taking proper passes, some proper lunges, so the racing's going to be really good. Look, we got a big catch-up game to play after Durban. It was really a bad round for us. So yeah, basically got to bank as many points as we can, but we've got nothing to lose at the moment where we sat in the championship, so we're going to go all out for the win.
Strong talk coming from Luke there. Are you ready? And also you've got to worry about Michael coming from behind. You've got to worry about Morgado. Jason Coetzee has shown that he's not shy to chuck it in there.
Yeah, it's going to be war. I said this last week when I was in Cape Town that I think this weekend is going to be a bit of a war. But you know, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's not nice to run away with races. I mean, a lot of people prefer it, but you know, if I can't get away, of course I'm going to have to fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
There is also that one little thing. You will make, I think, a bit of history. 4 championships, DD2 in a row.
Yeah, well,
if you win this one.
It's currently 4 now, so if I win this one, then it'll be 5 in a row, and that's the plan. I'm not here to defend the title, I'm here to win it again, so I'm looking forward to the year.
Great. In practice yesterday, most of the day you were top of the charts. In qualifying, some of the youngsters squeezed through.
Yeah, qualifying wasn't ideal. Made a few mistakes on the second lap, but we've seen in Idubi that it's not necessarily the guy that qualifies pole that wins the races. So I'm quite happy with the 4th. I'll take it from there.
Cristiano, DD2 Masters, 6 on the grid. Probably would have preferred higher up, but Michael is 5 karts back.
Yeah, it's first in the Masters, but 6th overall. But the pace is really fast here this weekend. So I've been near the front most of the time, but quali wasn't ideal. Didn't get enough tire temperature, but quite happy to be near the front. So we'll just see what happens today.
You always do your own race, but still you would like to beat the youngsters. But are you going to be aware of seeing number 1 coming from behind?
Oh, geez, I think I probably have my hands full with just with all the guys around me to be worried too much about that. And yeah, so just going to do a normal race and just see where I end up, just to have some fun, you know.
Michael, round 2 of the championship. Qualifying wasn't great.
Yeah, I didn't even make it into Q3. Not a great day yesterday. We sort of tuned ourselves up the game in practice 4 and 5, but missed a gear in qualifying, so maybe 6th, 7th on the grid would have been more realistic. But yeah, missing 2, 3, 10th, so we made some changes overnight. It's a bit better this morning, but yeah, still lacking a little bit, but we'll push hard in the races.
Sometimes round 2 can be the turning point of a championship. Idubi was total different kettle of fish for everybody because of the changing conditions. This track here, everything is going to be the same all day.
Yeah, hope for some rain, but it doesn't look like it, eh? But yeah, you know, it's a long championship. There are some drop rounds, so you know, if you don't have a good round now, it's not the end of the world. But we'll try to come through in the day. I think it's going to get quite tough up front there, and hopefully we can pick up the pieces and come through.
And we go into the start now of the first heat of DD2, the premier class in the Rotax series. We've got Bradley Lieberg on pole, Luke Herring in second. These two have no love lost between the two of them. They're good mates off the circuit. As the flag drops, they head into the chicane. Let's see if they're good mates on the track as well. Bit of argy-bargy there as Jurie Swart goes through into second place ahead of fellow Camptonian Luke Herring. And Arnold Neveling there in fourth, the local boy. He has been, his entire career, he's been unbeatable in the circuit, and I'm sure he's going to be just as unbeatable now. He's never been a fan of the three-lap qualifier, and that shows in his starting position for the first heat. Robert Whiting there having a go at Benjamin Habig, the two KZN boys, as they head through the left-hander. It's Bradley Liebenberg, the local man, ahead of two Cape Tonians, and the other local man, Arnold Neveling. Cristiano Morgado there, the master. They call him master for good reason. They've been driving them for a while. They're in fifth place behind the youngsters, showing real good turn of pace. I'm so glad that they dropped the weight limit for the Masters to match the youngsters. Now we can see them mixing it up in the front with the likes of Bradley Liebenberg, Jurie Swart, Luke Herring and Arnold Neveling.
There's a reason why this is the Premier class, because it's the Premier League. Everybody here at the front has got numerous championships under the belt. I mean, Bradley is sitting on going for his 5th championship in DD2.
Arnold Neveling there getting past Luke. Luke not fighting him off too much. Let's rather play the long game than the short game. Arnold's been quickest in every single practice session this weekend. And we see Jordan North and Pascal Aqua there in the grass. Jordan North also a champion in a previous class. They are champions all the way through this class. Bradley Liebenberg, Jurie Swart, Arnold Neveling. Arnold Neveling, a European champion in his own right, as they head now onto the main straight. This is why this is the Premier League of karting.
Yes, I must say, looking at the starting grid at the beginning of the year, I thought to myself, wow, if I had to do a trophy cabinet for this bunch of guys at the front, it's going to be a huge trophy cabinet. I mean, 4 times world champion, multiple South African champions, Michael Steven, multiple karting champion, production car champion, GTC champion. I mean, it's a who's who of karting and of South African motorsport. And, you know, year after year, we just seem to produce these champions, and it's so fantastically nice to see them all on the same grid.
And the front of this grid is like they've taken all the top main circuit drivers and said, well guys, here's go-karts, go racing. The only one in that field that isn't racing main circuit at the moment is Luke Herring.
Yeah, Luke Herring not, and you know, Habig is now into main circuit as well. And you know, he's the youngsters. Last year went to varsity, and we see Arnold making a move there, a very strong move on Swart, and now he's going to go after Bradley.
There is no one that knows this track better than Arnold Neveling. Him and I have been karting for the same amount of years, and I think we're on our 24th year now. I spend most of my laps at Swakop's, he spent most of his here. There's no one on this that knows this track better than him. He does huge amounts of testing. His workshop is only 3 k's away from the circuit with RKT, and RKT have put a lot of work and development into this class, and it shows.
And he's got this smooth, uncomplicated style. He just looks like he's on a Sunday afternoon drive. Every lap, there's no rush, no hassle, just smooth and uncomplicated.
He almost looks like he's playing Pac-Man there on his Unipro on the steering wheel. Cristiano Morgado was running up there with Luke Herring. They've obviously had a bit of a argy-bargy, and he's gone backwards, but still leading the Masters class as Jason Coetzee goes past him. Also doing 2 classes this weekend as Bryn High and Cristiano Morgado have a bit of a coming together there.
Yeah, at the first round at Dube, Jason and Morgado had a bit of a get-together, and Morgado came right back at him then, and now this time around, Morgado must be saying, no, not him again, this bloody teenager.
They keep they're playing a game called 1 for 1, I think, and I don't know who's ahead at the moment, but they're back at it again this weekend.
Yes, and Jason had a terrible senior max race day, so he would like to change things here in DD2.
Look, running inside the top 6 in this class, you're doing well. There's such class drivers out here, and you can see it in the way they're driving. Calm, collected, no blocking, no unnecessary movements, just sitting line astern, waiting their chance, biding their time. Unbelievable driving from both of these two in the front.
And I think Bradley is seeing that back marker that we're coming up to, and he's totally aware of Arnold being right there, and he's thinking, okay, where am I going to pass that guy? and keep Arnold behind me.
I think Pascal's been in the kart for long enough to know that the front boys are coming. He'll probably give them room here as we head onto the main straight. But you can see the difference in lines and driving style between... there's Pascal getting well out of the way, almost putting himself into the grass. But thank you very much, Pascal. Good thinking there, Batman. As we head now into the right hand onto the main straight, you can see the difference in lines. Bradley's kart looking a little bit looser on the back than Arnold's. Maybe it might be hurting the rear tires towards the end of this heat. Bradley there a little bit narrower into the right hander than Arnold. Arnold trying a different lines to the left hand here to get running on Bradley into the tight left. Not able to do it yet, but I think he's biding his time, waiting for the right opportunity to get past Bradley here.
Bradley's starting to go a little bit defensive. You can see it, and it's bringing Jurie Swart back into it. Jurie was dropping off, but suddenly he's right there, 2-3 kart lengths behind them.
The thing with this class though is if you just slightly make a small mistake, the times are so close together that gap is unsurmountable. Even 2-3 kart lengths may be insurmountable in this class because of how close together they're running lap times.
Arnold sort of feeling it out. You can see he's starting to make a move, and yes, as I say that, he's trying to go inside, but Bradley saw him coming.
Bradley blocking so early on in the race. Arnold not going to be one to take that lying down. He goes for the switchback through the double left, but just clips the curve there, unable to do it now. Weird to see Bradley defending so early on. It's allowed Jurie Swart into the party. He's coming to join this race. He's coming on strong.
Yes, absolutely. And as we say, Bradley probably be going defensive too early. And as you say, Arnold knows every single millimeter of his track. Jurie is there, and he's prepared to get involved in their party.
If Bradley's going to be racing like that so early on in the championship, he should be looking to maybe let Arnold go, bank the points for second, wait till Cape Town. You know this is his home track, you know he's faster. Let him go if he is faster than you, try and tag on and bank your second place. But Arnold's always going to have a go as they head now into the right-hander. Arnold down the inside, late on the brakes, but Bradley wise to it, turns in a little bit earlier. This could end in tears for one of them if it continues this way.
Bradley saying, hey, I've won this title 4 years in a row. Where do you think you can just come and shove it past me?
What Bradley doesn't realize is that when the first DD2s arrived in the country, Arnold was one of the first ones to race them back in 2007, and that is possibly the best racing season I've had. Himself, Ralph Udendal, Leroy, he's down the inside now into the right-hander. Bradley didn't give him enough room. They made contact, but he's held onto it as they head now into the right-hand main straight. Arnold giving Bradley enough room to come back at him, but it's allowed Jurie Swart through on Bradley, and Luke Herring now up the inside of Bradley into the chicane. Not letting Arnold go, being a little bit tight, not thinking the long game. He's down the inside now, Bradley on Luke. Late move, they make contact, but just not thinking the long game, being a little bit too aggressive for my liking in the beginning. You know, rather think long game and bank the points, bank your second. Now you're looking at a third place finish as opposed to a possible second.
Yeah, and while all of this was playing out, Arnold has taken the lead, he's moved away, and yeah, as you say, Bradley's suddenly thinking, okay, now what? And I think there's a lot of work left for him to do to get back, and I don't think he can be able to manage it.
With the times running as close as they are, to get a gap of 5-6 car lengths like that is difficult. You'd have to be really quick. I mean, that's 0.1 of a second a lap to close that gap down by the end of the race. I just don't see him having 0.1 or 0.2 on the two in front of him.
And I must say, Jurie is looking also quite racy this late stage of the race.
Luke Herring, though, showing some good turn of pace after his disastrous Idubi National. He needs good results here. He needs top 3, top 2 finishes to revive his championship. But he's doing well there in fourth to bank the points and put together a decent championship campaign.
Now, I think Jurie would do well sitting behind Arnold and just saying, okay, this guy knows his track better than all of us. Let's just watch which lines he runs.
You can see that Arnold just has a little bit more pace than Jurie, a little bit more consistent than Jurie. Getting away from him that kart length a lap, Jurie would be wise just to try and stay in the toe and keep himself away from Bradley Liebenberg. In the background there we see Benjamin Habig. Benjamin very strong in Idubi and has been strong in Cape Town in previous years, so he's very strong there in fifth, and I think he could do well in the next heat.
And as the camera whip back here, we have Michael Stephen, who started in 11th place. You know, he's really been struggling on this first heat. By coming down, making a move on Bryn High. He's really trying to get to the front, and he knows Morgado's up the road and he needs to get there. He was, of course, the championship leader in DD2 and Masters after the first race in Idubi.
Michael never really being a big fan of the circuit, even back in the days when he was racing in the other categories. Never been a big fan of the circuit. None of the guys from PE really do well here. I think it's the long sweeping corners, something they're not used to from their other circuits. But as we look now, it's Arnold Neveling taking the flag from Jurie Swart, Bradley Liebenberg in third, Luke Herring in fourth.
Yes, Arnold making that look easy. I'm sure Jurie would be very happy with that second place. Bradley in third, as you said. Luke Herring fourth. Benjamin Habig in fifth place ahead of Jason Coetzee. Cristiano Morgado flying the flag for the Masters in seventh place.
No, it went well. We got the first win. It's quite a big fight here today, but let's hope we can carry on through with the last two races.
Plans going into the next race?
Yeah, it's difficult to judge beforehand, but I guess ideally we would like to get into the lead and see if we could pull away. But the field is so close today that I doubt that will be possible.
Yesterday we struggled a bit with the setup, and we got it right for quali and put us third on the grid and had a solid start. Came out second. Arnold got past me within 5 laps or so, and then Cart came on halfway through the race, and then we started coming back to the leaders, and then we got past Bradley with 5 laps to go and just managed to hold on to Arnold till the end. 1 or 2 more setup tweaks for the next race to get us that half a tenth closer, but otherwise it's a good, clean, fun race and really enjoyed it. You don't look too happy. Tell me about that race.
It was a decent race until about 4 or 5 laps from the end. A little bit of bumpy driving, but I mean, that's racing. We'll see what's happening in the second race, and we'll see what's happening, and hopefully we can come out on top.
We head now into Heat 2. Bradley Liebenberg setting the fastest lap in the first heat, putting him on pole for the start of the second heat ahead of Arnold Neveling, Luke Herring and Jurie Swart. The same four that were fighting it out in the first heat will be fighting it out here in the second. Let's see who gets the better of whom at the start. Arnold Neveling quick on the flag, looking to get up inside of Luke Herring. Luke having none of that, so much for team orders, as they head now into the right-hander onto the back straight. A bit of argy-bargy at the back is Jonathan Thomas and Jurie Swart having a bit of fight there. Luke fighting early down the inside of Bradley Liebenberg, allowing Arnold Neveling to try and get up the inside there. Unable to do it around the outside of Bradley Liebenberg as they head now into the tight left. The front three getting a bit of a gap there on Jurie Swart, who had to get past Jonathan Thomas, who set some blistering pace in the previous heat, but getting beaten by experience, and beaten hard by experience in the racecraft.
Yeah, and you also have Michael, Stephen and Morgado this time starting a bit higher up on the grid, and they want to also early in the race make up some places.
Morgado currently leading the Masters battle as Bradley Liebenberg tries a very interesting line through the chicane. That was never going to work, and it's allowed Arnold Neveling onto him. He's wise of it. He's gone deep into the right-hander to try and block him off, but Arnold down the inside now into Mercedes-Benz makes the move stick, because Bradley is really trying to hold the guys tight, trying to keep them from passing him, and all he's doing is pushing himself further down the grid. Rather let the man go past. He's got the run on you, get back on his bumper and race the rest of the race. Obviously not used to having to race for his position. Arnold Neveling now up the inside of Jurie Swart after Jurie makes a mistake into the tight left-hander. Head down onto Luke Herring. Here I come.
And here come the two friends, Benjamin Habig and Bradley Liebenberg, two big friends off the circuit. On the circuit, they will always have a big fight. Bradley making up one place on Swart there, and Benjamin on his inside.
Bradley again with an over-eager move. Rather than wait a lap and get it done, because Jurie's not far off Arnold, he goes for a last-ditch move onto the right-hand and makes a mistake and loses the gap again.
Benjamin Habig got it all to do again. He lost some place there and space, and Michael Stephen now leading the Masters. Michael Stephen has now moved into 6th place and looking very good.
Cristiano there way down in 12th or 13th position. Got a lot of work to catch. That's the difficulty with being a master. You've got a lot of the junior karts that get in between you and your leader, so you, instead of passing one kart to take the lead, you've got to pass 4 or 5 karts that don't actually count against your championship.
Yeah, and Cristiano also on the day doing the 2 classes, although he didn't do the second senior max race, probably also feeling a bit of that in his body.
Sebastian Boyd there trying to get past Jonathan Thompson. The driver I expected to be further up the field, now getting passed by Jason Coetzee, someone he races with quite closely in Cape Town. Sebastian struggling here with his DD2 as they head now into the right-hander after the back straight. Too much of a dive, hits Jason Coetzee right on the back wheel and turns him into the grass. Jason seems ecstatic about that move.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. The two of them dueling in other classes and junior categories and things as Morgado makes a move there. Yeah, Morgado must say thank you to that because it just gave him back 2 places with the two taking each other on and Jason Coetzee ending up right at the back of the field.
Cristiano Morgado getting close there to Ivana Setinic, but there's quite a few carts between Michael Stevens and himself for the Masters win.
Yeah, Michael will be happy with that because the entire weekend was a struggle for him. All through practice, it was a struggle, and when you used to winning races, winning championships, when you're sort of sitting here 5th, 6th place, it's not where you're comfortable.
Bradley Liebenberg now onto the back of Luke Herring. Arnold Neveling getting past Luke Herring and pulling a bit of a gap. If Bradley had played smart in the beginning with Arnold trying to pass him and let him go, it would be him and Arnold out in front. But too eager to close the door on Luke Herring, too eager to try and pass Jurie. All those mistakes have cost him a possible win in this heat.
Yeah, Bradley would be happy that Benjamin is on the back there of Jurie Swart to keep Jurie busy because it will give him chance to not worry as they got past Luke Herring there. Bradley into 2nd place, and now that 3, 4, 5 dice is going to be very interesting.
Jurie Swart there right in the back of his Cape Townian counterpart, Luke Herring, as they head down the back straight. Jurie down the inside. Good move from Jurie, nice and strong. Luke wise, gave him a bit of room, gave him the cutback, and then tried to switch him up onto the left-hander. Jurie didn't let it happen. But again, too much contact.
Yes, a bit of tyre smoke coming off there, of tyres touching. And it's cost Luke. He's dropped 2 places. And Benjamin Habig is suddenly there in place to go for the podium.
I understand leaning on another competitor to keep your corner, but if he's on the inside for a corner, rather than lean on him, get him behind him. Don't lose the pace of the guys in front of you.
And Arnold is disappearing at the front, looking extremely comfortable on his home circuit. And these other guys are squabbling for places. And at the end of the day, the squabbling is costing you time.
If you have the pace, you know that you're all similar pace. You've been watching the times all of Friday, all of Saturday. These boys know what times each other are doing during the day. You know that you're all very close. You know that no one's going to run away with it. Why not just play the long game? It's a long race.
Yeah, Bradley must be happy now. He's gone into 2nd place. These guys fighting for 3, 4, 5 and 6th place now suddenly has played into his hand, and he can do his own race, not having to worry about looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, it's nice to see not nice to see. It's interesting to see the difference between the drivers that have raced karts for as long as Arnold has in big fields as long as Arnold has, and those that are just eager to lead. Bradley's come from leading 5 championships in a row. He's led most of the races in all those championships. As Benjamin Habig down the inside of Jurie Swart gets the move done, nice, easy. Jurie wise to who's behind him, let Benjamin go past, filed him behind him, and only lost the 1 place. Clever driving.
Will be interesting to see now that Benjamin has come past if he can close up to Bradley. That will be interesting to see. Michael Stevens, as I say, sitting comfortably there in the Masters class in 6th position. He's one of those Masters like Morgado. Yes, they know they're leading the Masters, but that is not what it's about. They want to win races. They like to show these teenagers how it's done. You don't win 13 titles in your lifetime by running 2nd, 3rd or 5th or 6th. You get those titles by running at the front of the field.
Exactly. If you're no longer going for the gap, you're no longer a racing driver, said Ayrton Senna as they head now through this right hand again. You can see how dark the rubber line is getting on the track, how much rubber is being put down by these karts as they head through the fast sweeping left. Jurie knows he's got the pace to run with Benjamin, but he knows Luke is coming. Wise driver, wait for Luke to come and then make your move on Benjamin.
Yeah, Luke is looking very ominous there, and he's got Michael behind him.
As we're heading now into the closing stages of the race, the gap has started. It's the last lap. Benjamin Habig quite a bit ahead of Jurie Swart and Luke Herring, but the story of the race is Arnold Neveling's gap on Bradley Liebenberg. That gap happened early on in the race with a bit of overzealous driving, and it's given Arnold an easy. Luke, big dive on Jurie Swart, didn't quite get it in, but managed to get enough of a kart onto Jurie to give it past him. Bit of a late dive, but he made it happen.
Yeah, Michael Stevens saying, okay, you two keep on doing that. I might end up getting 5th place in this race.
He's quite a bit ahead of Cristiano Morgado down 11th as we watch Arnold Neveling come to take the checkered flag for the 2nd time at his home event with quite a comfortable lead over Bradley Liebenberg.
Yes, it was all easy. It looked so easy for Arnold. As I say, he's got that easy style, that smooth lines. Quite a long way ahead there, almost 2 seconds ahead of Bradley Liebenberg. Benjamin Habig in 3rd place, Luke Herring 4th, ahead of Jurie Swart. Michael Stevens in 6th place, ahead of Jonathan Thomas, Brandon Smith, Jordan North, and Ivana Sestinic in 10th.
Yeah, no, it went well. We fell back to 3rd on the start and managed to get through and pull off the win. My team has been doing a good job this weekend, giving me all the right equipment to be able to win the races, so I'm very thankful for them.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the best race ever. Just had a few issues. Car just didn't want to switch on, and when it got going, I was a bit far behind the leader to catch up again, so I had to settle for 2nd and just cruise to the finish line there at the end after pushing quite hard, just to keep the tyres a little bit fresh for the last race, and we'll see what we can do then.
Yeah, we struggled a little bit in qualifying. We've been battling to find the sweet setup, but we made some changes from race 1, and yeah, it seems to have paid off. So we started 6th and finished P3, so not too happy, and we're slowly climbing back to the front.
Strategy for the next race?
Yeah, I'm not sure where we start, but we obviously just got to keep the nose clean for the first few laps and keep up the battles with the front guys. Here we go, the start of Heat 3. It's always a murderous heat, this Heat 3 of a DD2 at any national. The drivers want to prove their point on their last heat after either a good national or a bad national. And there's always oversellers moves as we head into the tram lines now. Arnold Neveling leads out Bradley Liebenberg as the flag drops. Arnold gets a brilliant start. He's ahead of Bradley into the first corner. Bradley going to try and sneak it up, but he's just not close enough. Benjamin Habig looking very racy there in 2nd. Luke Herring dropped down the pack a bit just behind Jason Coetzee. Jason Coetzee obviously setting a good lap time in the previous heat to get himself onto 4th of the grid, but running nice and tight lines there, making sure nobody can get past. And in the Masters battle, it looks like Michael Stevens has one up over Cristiano Morgado.
Yes, and in this early stage of a race, it's always good to see where people trying to make moves, trying to find just that little gap to make up an extra space. And in the Masters, as I say, they always there, lurking, ready to make up a position. Jordan North nice and strong in this heat, a little bit further up the field than he was, but there's a bit of a mix-up happening at the back there as they head through the right hand onto the main straight. Big gaggle of carts getting caught up in each other as they head through there. Arnold Neveling just looking supreme at the front. He just, as I say, he's got this Bradley already looking over, seeing his friend Benjamin
having a go up the inside here. Bradley knew it was coming. That's the sort of driving that should have happened in the 1st and 2nd heat. Let the guy go, stay on the pack. Don't try and defend so early on and move further down the field. Jason Coetzee, a teenager, coming up behind them, and we also wants part of his pie. Anybody in DD2 up in the front though, if you can get inside the top 6, you're doing really well. Let's have a look at the championships in this top group. Arnold Neveling, multiple karting champion, European champion. Benjamin Habig, the only one to not win championships but a whole handful of seconds. Bradley Liebenberg, 5 times DD2 championship. Jason Coetzee, multiple champion in the smaller classes. Luke Herring, multiple champion in the smaller classes. As he goes up the inside now of Jason Coetzee, it's going to end up being a 4-way battle for the lead here, with Michael Stevens looking in on Jason Coetzee now into the right-hander after the back straight. Michael going past Jason, not giving him any room, and that's losing pace on the boys in front. Jurie Swart looking like he's got a good turn of pace. He's been strong all weekend, and Benjamin Habig, late move on Arnold down the inside, allowing Bradley Liebenberg to come with him. Yes, they suddenly closed up on Arnold there, and Luke Herring down the inside now. And so Arnold is 4th place. The youngster's showing the old man how to do it. Well, I say old, he's 27 years old, but compared to these boys, he's old. Yeah, he was minding his own business at the front, and suddenly he's saying, what the hell's going on here? All of a sudden you go from leading to 4th in 1 lap. But his pace has been really strong all weekend, and I'm sure he can work his way back up to the front now. As it's the same usual contenders we looked at all of last season, Benjamin Habig and Bradley Liebenberg. I'm just not used to seeing them in a Tony Kart and a Burrell. I'm almost sure they were both in Burrell Arts last season. And they're good mates. And Luke Herring doesn't want to see those two disappear at the front. Luke Herring was going to go for them. And Arnold is going to say, okay, I'll bide my time. This is a longer race, 15 laps. I've got three laps longer to get to you guys.
You squabble, I'll just do my thing.
The three of these in front have been racing with each other in all the junior categories as they've moved up through junior categories to senior max to DD2. So they're all good friends off the track. But I think once the visor closes, that ends.
Yeah, and the two at the front are very good mates. They're not going to take each other out. They're going to work together, try and help each other and get away. But yeah,
as you say that, Bradley proves you wrong and sticks it down the inside of Benjamin Habig. Luke Herring, though, able to get onto the back. Now it's a four-way dice for the lead, and the most dangerous one of them all is at the back of this entire group.
Yes, but he's also the one they don't really have to worry about. Arnold's not going to be the one to do a dirty move on you. Arnold is going to be the one who's going to pick his spot and do a clean, tidy move. Luke Herring is one I would worry about.
Luke and I had some good races in X30 a couple of years back, and he is a bit of a shoulders out driver, but I enjoy that sort of racing. On that note, though, to make a mess of things, he'd be the one I'd watch.
Yeah, I know, and I think the big first thing here is for him, don't let those front two get away. Keep with him, because if you let him go get away, then it's all over barber shouting. And Arnold puts a nice clean move, as I said he does, on the inside and move up into third place. He wants to go after those front two.
A mature drive from Luke now would be just stick on his bumper and use Arnold to get up to the front. Use him to pull you onto the other two. You know he's quick on the circuit, and you know he's got that one lap wonder, that one lap turn of pace that he's always had his entire career to catch the front two.
And Jason Coetzee is just there, looming behind them. Jason is keeping them honest. He's right there. The teenager that won the junior championship last year ended up going to the World Finals driving in DD2. And it was really, he said it was such a fantastic experience. He wouldn't have missed it for the world.
He's in what I like to call the pick up the pieces position. Should this turn into a four-way battle, he's in the pick up the pieces position as Benjamin Habig now up the inside of Bradley Limburg. These two are holding nothing back. Benjamin seems to think he's quicker than Bradley, so he'll give him a pass, and Bradley thinks otherwise as they head now into the left-hand. Arnie's very strong here onto the brakes, but not quite close enough to Bradley now. They head now into the double right. That barrel looking very strong out of the slower stuff, but not so much out of the faster stuff. Tony Cott looking better there as he goes down the inside of Bradley. Not close enough just yet.
And Arnold says, come, let's do this. I want to get to the front.
This has allowed Benjamin Habig to get away. Bradley doesn't seem to have the pace he thought he had early on in the race. Saying that, though, very good line through the chicane, pulls back a couple of kart lengths. Again, very late and very deep onto the back straight. Pulls in another kart length. He can do that again here. Big braking zone. There we go. On the big braking zones, pulling in the kart length he needs to catch back up onto Benjamin Habig.
Yes, and Jason Coetzee says, okay, I'm also now here, guys. Anybody wants to come and play with me? The front five has now pulled a nice gap on Michael Stephen, who's just a little bit further back.
Cristiano Morgado making a good move up the field. He's up to about 7th or 8th now, trying to chase down Michael Stevens for the lead of the Masters. Jurie Swart putting in some good lap times there behind this group. Maybe he can also turn this into a six-way battle.
Luke just dropping over front three again now. And Arnold is, we see Bradley's also now thinking, okay, I've got Arnold here, I need to go.
Arnold needs to go soon, though, because you can see Benjamin Habig just has the turn of pace over Bradley. Bradley again blocking Arnold. Something he didn't do on Benjamin Habig or Luke Herring early on in the race.
Yes, and Arnold is, we know he's patient. He will just wait. He will wait his turn. If you're going to block me here, I'll do it somewhere else.
But I think Bradley knows that the man he's racing for the championship is not the man in front of him, but the man behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. And and as I say, Jason Coetzee is now well entrenched at the back of us. As you say, the guy who's going to pick up
the inside now. Arnold very good always onto this right hand, onto the main straight. He's got him past Bradley. This has dropped him into the clutches of Luke Herring. Luke will be clever now to have a go into the right hander, but is he close enough? It's a late move onto the right hander. Bradley giving no room. They make contact, and there is that curb, that evil curb that always seems to end someone's race.
Let's have a look at this again.
You can see, there we go, they touch the back wheels. Same that happened with the Pivo and Alce. It just lifts up the kart on the inside and throws it into the kart going around the outside.
That's left Bradley stranded on the side of a road, and it's suddenly broken up the front end of the field. And now the front three is gone, and in the back here is Bradley out of a kart. I don't know if he's going to be stranded there for the rest of the day, but now we're going back to see the Masters dice. Michael Stephen ahead of Cristiano Morgado, and Morgado will try anything. Yellow flag at the moment, so nobody can make a move. But Michael Stephen will look and see Morgado there and say, I want to beat him. Bradley back on the track.
Now, who do you race? Do you race the master behind you, or do you race the junior in front of you? It's a difficult decision to make for Michael. He'd be clever to get out into Jurie and use Jurie as a buffer between himself and Cristiano Morgado. At least that's what I would do.
Also, I think, guys like Michael and Cristiano, when you speak to them, they will tell you they know where they are in the championship. They know who's around them. They're very aware. Michael is one of those calculated people. He knows exactly the point standings, etc., etc. So he's not going to do something stupid.
Arnold Neveling now looking to take the lead back from Benjamin Habig. He's not close enough to do it here onto the right-hander. As they head now to the back straight, Arnold looking good down here. I don't know if he's going to make a move. He does here, nice and deep on the brakes, gets the move done. Benjamin knows that he's got the move done, gives him the space and gets onto his back bumper. Fight another corner.
Yes, very, very good driving there from both of them. And Arnie, as I say, smooth as ever. He's got his passing spots on the track. He knows where, he knows how late to go, etc., etc. And Jason Coetzee just here in the back, in third place. He inherited 2 places, as you said earlier, picked up the pieces after Luke and Bradley disappeared. And he's going to end up with a nice podium result on the day.
Arnold knows this track so well that I'm sure if you gave him a stopwatch, told him to close his eyes and pretend he's driving, he'd do the same lap time that he does on the kart itself. Unbelievable driver. Arnold knows this track back to front, and you can see straight away eking out a kart length gap on him in 1 lap after passing him.
I think after these first 2 rounds, this championship is really, really Michael Stephen after the Dube leading the DD2 Masters and the DD2 Championship. And suddenly today not having such a fantastic day. He'll lead with DD2 Masters, but in the overall championship, Arnold will probably walk away with championship lead with 3 wins in a row and having, I think, coming third overall at Idube.
I think it's still all to play though with 4 rounds. You're still able to drop 4 rounds here. Arnold has definitely got a decent lead in the championship, but there's still opportunity for Bradley to come back at him.
No, there's lots of opportunity. We watch these 2 masters, and you can see there's nothing silly is going to come out of that. Nothing silly is going to come out of their guys. Nobody's going to do something stupid. As I say, Michael try and make a move. Maybe he just wants to put Jurie Swart between him and Morgado, because it's that extra 2 points that he will get by doing that.
You see, Jurie also not thinking, there's a white number plate behind me. He's trying to pass me, but I'm blocking him. Maybe I shouldn't race him.
Yeah.
But it's Michael Stevens. Who wouldn't want to race him?
Yeah, I know. And I mean, it's fantastic to watch these guys. As I say, the experience of a Morgado, the experience of a Michael Stephen who missed out on the world title on the 18th lap in 2015 when he got bumped off by the Finnish guy Olli Kainen, while Michael that weekend won every heat, led every lap, and the Finnish guy made a stupid move. Michael wants to go back. He went back last year, didn't have a great one, only came 4th, and he wants to go again this year to Brazil.
Can you believe we're saying he only came 4th?
Yeah, he only came 4th because he had to start from 11th in the final, and it was difficult, and got a nose cone penalty, the dreaded nose cone penalty. But and Morgado suddenly feels hungry enough to go, and everybody wants Morgado back at the World Finals. He's like a folk hero there. He's the only guy who's ever won it 4 times. So they want him back. So can you imagine sending them 2 masters, Morgado and Michael Stephen, as Neveling show he's the master of Vereeniging by bringing in 3 wins on the day, ahead of Benjamin Habig, brilliant drive from Benjamin, Jason Coetzee in 3rd, ahead of Jurie Swart, Michael Stephen in 5th, ahead of Cristiano Morgado.
Hey, good result, tell me about it.
Yes, very happy with the day, very happy to be able to win the last race as well, gives us 3 out of 3. Had a little bit of trouble in the beginning, I just didn't have the pace for some reason, but the car quickly switched on afterwards, and we were able to take another victory, so very happy with that.
What does this mean going forward into the next race?
Well, at the moment all the focus was just on this weekend, so we haven't even given a lot of thought on the next round, but just very grateful for the opportunity to race, and also for my team that did such a fantastic job this weekend.
Yeah, we started the day off a bit slow. Unfortunately, we had a bad qualifying, started 7th, so got 5th in race 1, 3rd in race 2. And we made some setup changes that worked in the beginning, but unfortunately the kart dropped off with 6 laps to go. So it was a step in the right direction, but half a step back at the same time. So I managed to get second and happy with the results. And congrats to everyone for a good race.
What does this mean going forward to the next round?
Yeah, I think we have a bit of work to do in terms of our setup down in Cape Town. But I think it's going to be a good round. It's going to be interesting, and it's definitely going to be close.
Yes, I really don't know how I was going to finish there. I was just pushing every single lap, trying to keep it together. And then, it all just came together. I don't know why in the end of the day, but I'm happy for what I could have had in the day. So, in Cape Town we're going to work hard and try and win that. So, Arnold was very fast, so no one could catch him.
Yeah, not the best start today. Qualifying really didn't go well yesterday. And even for race 1, I made a change to the kart and it really wasn't good. But I think we came back strong. Race 2 and 3, maybe didn't have the pace to win the race, but top 5, top 6, in the battle, and that was all that really counted. The last race, probably made 1 or 2 moves that I shouldn't, and the leading pack got away. But really happy with the results, considering this morning and yesterday.
Good racing between you and Cristiano. What does this mean going forward?
Yeah, it's fantastic to race against him after probably 10 years that we haven't raced against each other. And, we're looking forward to the next 2 rounds of the championship, and hopefully I can beat him to the end of the year. The prize of going to Brazil and competing in the World Finals is there, but, we'll give it our best go and see what we can do and see what happens at the end of the year.